what an issue was. Round 2, we're going to be starting off with Rainmaker at Black Belly. Avril is in, but as it is a requirement on this map and mode, you have to use C-Jet. So I would expect to see that over a Charger. Especially, is it John who can use the jet? There is a jet player for the side of Wipeout.
I believe it's John, yeah.
We're going to see some C-Jet versus C-Jet action. I'm calling it now, and I don't think that's a hot take.
And Stan's a crazy player as well. Stan will just go absolutely ham. I know Naptime has some really unique comps. Like, they played a double ink brush composition on Inkblot zones on us one time. That was hilarious. They are very creative with what they can do. But I'm expecting to see a C-Jet. I'm expecting to see some kind of crazy pick from Draco or Sleepy. And I'm expecting this one to be a hard-hitting bloodbath for this entire set.
And if you want to get rid of all of your channel points and then the team that you voted against ends up winning and you want to look like an idiot because they're going to clip it and put it on Twitter and talk about how you didn't believe in them, you can vote your channel points right now. Predict who you think is going to win this match. As you can see, our fancy little graphic shows the current percentage here. Naptime, the early heavy favorites. But I don't think it's going to be...
Yeah, there it
this
goes.
one being close, if not into the favor of Wipeout Punk slightly, if I were to do a little bit of an odd prediction here, but it just kind of comes down, honestly, who wins this opening Stingray versus Stingray battle.
Hey, you're the commentator.
Here.
You're supposed to be unbiased.
Oh, I'm unbiased. I don't have a dog in this fight, but I think we know what's going to happen in the first 10 seconds here. Stingray versus Stingray coming right out.
Oh, here we go. The stand on that Nautilus, again, going to be that main slayer for Wipeout Punks, but Avril just kind of holding on, just waiting for things to happen. Deciding to be the later Ray is going to let this one actually just run out fully before popping her own. Looks like they're gearing up, and Captain Happy is in a very interesting position over on this left side. Finally, the Ray does come out, but it's a little bit too late. One does end up going down to the side of Naptime, and John is going to be ended up getting caught out here. The Ray just made a little bit of an opening, and getting that second pick, that late pick, allows Draco to come back in, and this looks like it's good play for Naptime.
Yeah, this is going to be your opportunity. Yeah, I kind of talked about this yesterday on Friday Night Frenzy. This map is kind of like Wahoo World in the sense that you can only push when the bridge is down. Here you can only push when the Stingray is down, and they're able to get to 44 if the Stingray comes out, getting wiped in the process. But there you go. It's going to be a little bit before Naptime can get their Stingray going, and with that wipe right now, you got to strike now. You can't waste too much time getting through mid.
I mean, you literally have a timer, right? Jets can get that Ray in 10 seconds, and if you're not in before then that push is boned. Look, already gone. And the Ray is coming out instantly. The Inkjet come online trying to find the Ray, not going to be able to do so, and that's going to be, ends up going down for Wipeout Punks. They've got a couple of good things going for them right now, but Sleepy needs to get taken down before they end up getting John. Finally ends up going down. Arrow tried to save them, gonna end up going down for it as well. That's not what you want to see if you're on the side of Naptime, but Wipeout Punk's doing a great job of managing and making sure that they punish the mistakes. They're gonna get up that ramp, that's gonna be the lead, and Popgun.
Oh!
That's crazy.
Okay, yeah, they got lead. Okay, they might still get more than that, but there's no Stingray in sight and a lot of paint in the way for John to get up and add to their lead. I was impressed that they got stopped right now, but now they're getting all the points that they need to get a comfortable lead. The Stingray finally coming out, but damage already done, 19 remaining, and this push still isn't over.
It seems like Naptime really... Yeah, now it is. It seems like Naptime is really trying to play at their own pace with this playstyle, right? Like they're trying to set low, like wait for the Ray, wait for everything. Whereas it seems like Wipeout Punk's kind of trying to push that pace, trying to make these plays, trying to make sure that they can keep Naptime off of their feet, right? And it's kind of that battle between like a standing statue that wants to hold their ground and slowly move forward, and someone who's trying to get it off its rocker. And that's exactly why ends up stepping up and not going to find anything. Sleepy with these bubbles, trying to come out and find Stan in that Inkjet. Gonna try and get the landing. Stan maybe not getting it. Finally, it seems like Naptime is getting the picks that they need to get this train rolling. There is a Jet, though, with a Ray, and that is the one thing that's going to stop this push.
Well, that's what you were talking about, is that they were just kind of standing back and letting Wipeout punks come into them. Well, now you're in a stance where you need to move up and make the play, and that's exactly what Sleepy did right there. Rainmaker working around that right side, and Sleepy kind of stuck away from the action as we see a counter ray coming out here. So there's a little bit of an opportunity to get something going because the C-Jet is down, but Sleepy needs some more friends up top there. They're doing a good job of holding down that space, that little jail area right there, but they don't have enough bodies to start pushing up even further and capture more space that they need to get lead. Yovi doing a good job of finally cleaning out Sleepy and resetting the Rainmaker.
And that wall, Kgal is so good, especially in that tight corridor. Just putting down that wall stops so many pushes in its tracks. And that's really the power of Kgal in a lot of these situations. It's just like, ooh, I've got a wall. You literally just cannot move forward, and you have to get a special out or something to remove me. It's so tough to deal with. But the players that can at least like find a couple of different angles, and if they have a couple more players up, they can double team it. But in that situation, they didn't have it. Finally, the ray and the missiles come out. They're going to put a stop to this. It's going to be a little bit slow. Not a lot of time left. And Arrow's going to try and find this pick and mid with the help of the ray. Draco's going to try and follow up. Ends up getting pushed away by the wall. And a couple of picks, as well as some pop shots from Sleepy, is going to be able to land. And that's going to be 2 down. Maybe finally Naptime gets their opening.
Well, every time somebody pops off and gets a double, 2 more players on the backside of Naptime go down, so they never really have true man advantage. And now you're in a situation where you're probably just going to get 1 more push, and all you got to do if you're Wipeout punks is build up that Stingray, stand and spawn, and wait for the perfect opportunity to pop it down. The incept does go down, and Sleepy's throwing some bombs around this right side, so that's probably the route they're going to take. It's going to be hard to push it the left side. If we could look at the Rainmaker real quick back over the mid, as we see some bubbles getting pushed up here. And Draco with the Stingray to work with, a couple are getting taken down. But again, the last player left alive was the Stingray, and that's all she wrote.
It seemed like they were really trying to play chess with each other there. Because like there was a couple of very interesting little micro movements that I saw at the end of that game that indicated to me like they're playing like a very tense strategic battle. Now, Naptime tried to move forward, tried to make a lot of space. Wipeout punks backed up. Like they were all standing up on that upper area, protecting everyone there. Avril made sure not to pick up the Rainmaker, and even though it was close by, just did not pick it up. Made sure to have that Stingray in the back ready to go when they popped it. And at that point, it was just a matter of timing. They were coming in from every different angle on the side of Naptime, trying to collapse around it, but then right at the last moment, as soon as the ray started moving up and climbing up that wall is when they popped the ray, and at that point it was too late. And the timing on that ray was so clutch from John. That was a really wild game. It
just kind of shows why you see Jet on that map. I believe the Nautilus was still alive for Wipeout punks as well, but as long as you got that Stingray and you pop it at a time where the Rainmaker's like climbing that wall, or they don't really have space to like move with it just to wait out that ray, you're just kind of stuck and there's nothing you can really do about it. But again, that's why you want to get that lead early so that you can be the team that's defending on that map instead of having to make a hero play to bail your team out. So now Clan Blitz at Sturgeon Shipyard. We don't really see this map mode too often, but if you were looking to change up your comp a little bit from what you were doing in the last game, this is a great opportunity to do just that. As we see, Naptime's already readied up. They probably know what they want to do here, but Wipeout punks, again, they have a little bit of flexibility in their roster as far as what they want to do. Even though we see the same 4 players in here, they can switch up their comp a little bit to match the playstyle they want to have specifically for this one.
Yeah, like Stan can switch off of that Nautilus and go something that's a lot more quick-paced on like a splash or a K-shot. And I think either Captain Happy or Yovi can switch to something like a little longer range, like an H3 or a K-Pro, if they've really wanted it. I know usually it's Raven that's the K-Pro player for Wipeout punks, though, right? And Raven's not here.
Yes, that is true. Right. I forgot Raven on the roster, currently not into the lobby. It's fair enough. 2-day tournament. You want to make sure you got a deep roster anyways, so that everybody's awake in time to go. Game 2, Wipeout Punks up 1-0, looking to close out this one and move on to the next stage. This is, we're dropping the Stingray and bringing out the missiles. And Stan coming out not with a Nautilus, but a Squeezer this time around. Looking pretty similar with both comps. The only real difference is the T-Tech over the K-Shot.
Actually, and the Junior over the NZAP, which can make a big difference. That Junior can pump out a lot more bombs and a lot more armors, as well as keep down a little bit more paint instead of you having that fighting power. But if you have two things like the Squeezer and the Inkjet on the T-Tech, like, you don't need that fighting power, and usually the bombs can suffice for that pressure, and that's the trade-off that you're trying to go for, and that's how they're going to play around. And they're going to be kind of trying to wall back Naptime here. Sleepy on this left corner, trying to paint around for bubbles, make sure nobody's coming in too quickly. The clams are on the ready for the Wipeout Punks, and it seems like they're trying to move forward now. Here comes the Inkjet. There's an armor at the ready. I believe it already got used. And the Bubble Blower with the missiles and the Inkjet ends up popping too. And Cappy's a great Inkjet usage going around, blocking the clams, and they're going to be able to score this and get at least a couple more in, as well as sticking around in those bubbles.
Yeah, you want to get below 60 on your first push, and they're able to do just that. If they can't find ways to get more man advantage into the favor of the defending team, and they're able to get control of their snipe, that's kind of the key area you want to control. And whether you can get up in that snipe or not is dependent on how much time is on the clock when the bridge rises and falls, as you see the bridge starting to go up there. But yeah, I was curious why Naptime was interested in defending this side that they're at right now when the bridge was up, because you saw the bubbles coming through the right side, but now you just lost complete control of your side of the map, and Wipeout Punk's starting to have a party at the enemy base.
Yeah, they are. They backed up and kept those special meters high, and they were able to come right back to it. That was really, really clean, the fact that they just knew exactly when to come out, and I think that they're going to be doing the same thing here. Look at Stan jumping out. Not going to be able to save the bubbles this time, but is going to at least leave a little bit more time for people like John to make stuff happen all the way down to 20, and that is a tough push to come back from if you're on the side of Naptime. There's still a lot of time, still got half of the game left at least, but that's tough.
For the first time, they have control of mid, so they don't have to be on the back foot. Again, they're waiting for Wipeout Punks to come into them, but now they're at a situation they can't wait anymore. Yeah, you still got half the game left to go, but you have control of mid, you got the clams built up, you need to take advantage of that, as we see Draco trying to camp out. Oh, the bubbles defending the Inkjet! What a great play by Stan, saying, nah, you're not just going to camp that. I'm taking all of these players down. The last player forced to kind of retreat right there, and that is not where you want to see the enemy squeezing.
Able to dip and dodge around for a little bit, and able to bait one of the teammates to finally come back. Sleepy on that Squeezer, able to head down the Squeezer for Wipeout Punks. Gonna have to couple of trades going around though. Seems like Draco really can't get things going on that K-Shot, and that's arrow going down as well. Finally, it looks like this is the knockout punch for Wipeout Punks, if they can keep this one going. Avril stuck in the mist. Draco's trying to find a way to keep people back, but all they need is 3 more clams, and that's going to be the set for Wipeout Punks. 3 going down. They've got the clams at the ready. Yobi's painting a path, and that's the clams. That was so clean from Wipeout Punks.
That's from start to finish. They only surrendered mid once. And when they were doing that, just able to use the specials, kind of bait. That Inkjet just kind of worked as a bait for Stan's bubbles to come in and get a huge double leading into a triple that just flipped the game completely out of control into the favor of Naptime. But Wipeout Punk's looking very good in the early goings of this Swiss stage, already 2-0 and dismissing Naptime in the process there.
Not much else you can say. I mean, they knew what they needed to do. They played clean. They utilized their comps, the slight differences in the comps, because there weren't really that many differences, but they utilized those slight differences to their advantage with that bomb pressure, forcing the back, keeping the wall back, and then able to just hit that go button with those bubbles and Inkjet. I mean, that's exactly what you need to do on clams. Is you need to, and this is what I was trying to say during the takeover set, you need to just have that burst, right? Like, you need to just, because there's oftentimes it's just like a wall that you need to get through, a couple of choke points that you need to just open up wide and then just get control of one pretty significantly large area around that clam basket for you to have a sustained push. And I wasn't sure if White Lotus was going to be able to do that, because they weren't used to playing like that, because that's really not a lot of what you do, except for like maybe a little bit on zones, but even then it's a little bit of a different way you have to go about it. And so that's what I was curious about, and Wipeout Punks did that fantastically.
Yeah, and you know, they basically had the same, not like weapon per weapon same comp, but it's still that same kind of shooter with a jet backing you up kind of comp. But even though they had this, the roughly the same kind of comp, that their play styles were completely different. Naptime's was way more passive, especially in the neutral game. Wipeout Punks, way more aggressive, especially in the neutral game. And that's what allowed them to get these huge leads early on, and then just find and pick and choose the opportunities that they wanted to take to close out the game. So Naptime just a little bit too much, starting off behind the 8-ball, if you will.
Yeah.
In a couple of those sets. Just to play different kind of dynamics with the same comps. But if you're going to run that kind of play style, you got to be a little bit more aggressive with it, as Wipeout Punks just kind of showed there.